All This and Rabbit Stew is one of the censored 11 cartoons from Warner Brothers. This was released in 1941 as part of the Merrie Melodies series. It's directed by Tex Avery, and we have Mel Blanc voicing Bugs Bunny. And the reason that this is one of the censored 11 is because the protagonist, or I guess antagonist to Bugs Bunny, is an African American individual. And it's worth pointing out that there is stereotyping going on here, but I want to look at this in two ways. One, in terms of this character, but also in terms of the narrative itself. And to be perfectly honest, it's not the most interesting narrative. Let's say, for example, the hunter was Elmer Fudd, and it was the same narrative. I didn't think it was that interesting anyway compared to a lot of the others. The Bugs Bunny is doing a lot of escaping. There's another creature involved that poses a threat as well, and I won't say any more than that. I don't want to spoil it. But I certainly didn't feel like the narrative was as well developed as it could have been. And I don't know if they were maybe using this character of this African American individual to try and detract from the lesser developed narrative so that people were going to be focusing on this character, which, needless to say, they invariably would be doing. So I think it is quite a character driven cartoon, and unfortunately, there is some racial stereotyping going on here. So, had that character been, let's say, Elmer Fudd, it just wouldn't have been that interesting. Not awful. And if you'd never seen a Warner Brothers cartoon, it might be quite interesting, but I feel like it's lacking something with the narrative. And it is definitely focusing on this character. And to be honest, this character, who is labeled Black Hunter on IMDb, he is quite racially stereotyped. And there are some Censored 11 cartoons that I feel actually aren't as bad as what the Censored 11 suggests. And actually, a lot of the time, black individuals have worked on creating that. Now, I'm not sure if that's the case with this one. I don't know if any black people were involved in the creation of this cartoon. If you do know, either way, please feel free to let me know. But just judging it on the surface with the information that I have, the character definitely is one of the bigger racial stereotypes, and because it's character driven, that was going to be quite problematic. Also, I didn't think the character was very likable, which again is probably part of the problem, but I just didn't think he was that interesting. I felt like he was quite, I guess, slow, which again is a negative representation, and because of that, I didn't feel invested in his goal because he's obviously trying to shoot the rabbit, but at no point did I feel like he wanted to do that or that he was trying to achieve that. So I definitely felt like the character's motivations just weren't there and that the character just didn't care about what he was trying to do, which definitely causes a problem. So yeah, I can completely see why All This and Rabbit Stew is part of the Censored 11. I didn't really enjoy it at all. Whereas some of the Censored 11s are okay, they're not as bad as it seems. This one I can definitely understand why this became one of those films. Certainly, it's worth watching from a historical perspective, but on its own, genuinely really wasn't that good, and not as well put together as a lot of the others.